You all welcome back to African Colonization TV and Biafran History. Finally, the Israel government, they have finally responded to Nigeria, and they have finally say the main reason why those Islamists, those Islam that is in the north, the Shiites, they are protesting against Israel and US, calling them Israel must die, or US must die. So many things that is they did. In this video, you are going to see it. So as it is now, the Israel minister, they have now said the main truths that is happening. The main reason why they are now they are protesting against them is because of the Iran. They are sponsoring a terror group in Nigeria. That is why they are protesting, and they're doing a lot of things. In fact, in this video, you are going to see it and you're going to hear everything by yourself. So, according to the heading, they say Nigeria in a global spotlight as Israel raises alarm over Iran terror link in Nigeria. So, all those things you are seeing, and the worst part of it is that the Nigerian government, they are seeing them as a terror group will come out in open place and be chanting a evil chant, talking something that once you hear it, you will start asking yourself where those people come from, where did they come from, and stepping on Israel and American flag, stepping on them, and in fact a lot of things. And at the end, the government will tell you that they don't know people that is sponsoring terrorists, and they don't know people that is causing these terrorists. For you to see that, in fact, everything that is happening and everything that is doing in this country, if you ask me, I will tell you that the government, they knows it all, that they are complicit, they knows everything, but they are afraid to go straight to the point. And the reason why they are protesting all those things and they are doing all those things because of they are afraid of America and they are afraid of US and Israel, because they know that after Iran, then US will now face them and start picking them one by one. That is why they want Israel and US to leave.
Now maybe like say there's a new report that indicates that most of the funding for those terrorists in Nigeria are coming from Iran. Why is the Nigerian authority not moving forward to arrest this kind of people advocating on behalf of Iran? According to Israel envoy, says Iran is sponsoring Islamic group in Nigeria to spread terror globally. I say Israel envoy say Iran is sponsoring Islamic group in Nigeria to spread terror globally. Freeman, Israel ambassador to Nigeria, has accused Iran of backing Islamic movement in Nigeria to spread terror worldwide. Speaking on Arise TV, Freeman specifically cited the Islamic movement of Nigeria, and also known as Shiite, as being supported by Tehran. He warned that Iran influence extends beyond Nigeria to other parts of West Africa and describes the country's long-standing hostility towards Israel and the West as a global threat. Freeman highlighted Iran's alleged sponsoring of terrorism, including support for groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, and also Houthis, as well as attack in countries such as Argentina, Bulgaria, UK, Australia, and Nigeria. You know, since this man is Israel, and some people do not really support Israel, so they're not going to take the matter seriously. But then again, when you see this kind of speech, Then you go back to see this kind of videos online. See the northern people, some Islamic people in the north, supporting Iran over Israel. It kind of like look like whatever the envoy of Israel are talking about, they are little true, or majority of what he's talking about are entirely truth. Because some of you will be like, no, it's not possible, it's not possible. They are just trying to like get support from other countries. But look at it now. Why are they supporting Iran? Why are they supporting Iran more than their own brothers who are being kidnapped? Why are they supporting them? Iran, according to Vanguard newspaper, Iran behind terrorism in Nigeria. But yet we have our own brothers and sisters. I don't think they are my brothers and sisters though. I don't think they are my brothers and sisters. And yet we have our own country people somewhere doing crazy things online. Someone even see this video we saw the other day of students stepping on Israel and United States of America flag. For what? Meanwhile, we have so many pressing issues. We have so many pressing issues. We are not teaching these kids on how to make Nigeria great again, on how to make our family, our fatherland great again, on how to love each other. The only thing we are teaching them is hate on other countries. As if if all those countries goes away, then our problem will be solved. The day school, instead of them to read their books, teach them on how to be productive, you are teaching them on how to step on other countries' people's flag. What the hell are you people doing? What is the Nigerian government doing about this? Well, so many of us are currently advocating that we should have our own identity. Every state should have its own identity. Let us be separated in a way. I'm not saying Nigeria shouldn't be Nigeria. Nigeria should be Nigeria, but then again, let us have our own separate identity. So that whenever they're going to say such thing about anybody, because of that particular state has its own separate identity, they will say Nigeria Sokoto. Just like how we have Dubai UAE. People will tell you, Dubai is part of UAE. But Dubai has its own identity. Outside UAE, other cities have their own identity. That's what we want in Nigeria. Separate identity. Separate identity. Let us not all be dragged. Let not all Muslims be dragged into one body of Muslim. No. I refuse to identify with a Muslim, a radical Muslim. I am not a radical. I refuse to identify with them. I refuse to call them my brother. They are not my brother. I am not part of them, and they are not part of me. I do not recognize them. I refuse. I refuse. It's crazy. Meanwhile, this particular army officer, for the past how many months, he has been quietly chilling inside the cell, army cell, because of the remark he made. Part of his remark, he said, all those military officers, top military officers, all those top politicians should send their children to fight Boko Haram. He questioned the loyalty of the Nigerian elites. Let me play you one of his videos.
I have a very important message for Nigeria. Me, the way I lose my colleagues is getting to things where they say, it will come out tears for me, for my eye, day by day. country, we have 36 governors. We have like senators, 109 senators. We get even the minister, we have like almost 60. We have House of Representatives, chairman of local government, 774. Let each one of them bring their son to join the Nigerian army. May they join the Nigerian army, not even the officer career. May they join the other rank. The other rank in Nigeria army. Let each of all those governors, all the senators, all those ministers, let them bring their son. May they bring them and join Nigeria army other rank. So that they can come and witness what we will not get people, what will they witness? Every day by day, this killing is too much. Person they lost our colleagues ambush. You go lost colleagues, you go cry tire. Who know who is next? I know. Good.
After that comment, immediately after that comment, the officer was arrested. He has made so many other videos, but immediately after that particular comment, the army officer was arrested by the army. They said he was arrested for calling on politicians, governors, senators on a viral video to send their son to join the army. His name is Corporal Rotimi Olamilanka, if I'm pronouncing it well. It's a corporal. Meanwhile, Nigerian army are begging Nigerians to come and join the army. Can you imagine the irony of it all, guys? They said, according to the Nigerian army, they said, stop shunning for recruitment exercise. Nigerian army beg Southeast youth. The Nigerian army has called on youth in Abia and Southeast state to heed the national call to service by enlisting in the military. The appeal was made on Thursday in Umuahia during the first awareness campaign organized by the Department of Civil Military Affairs of the Nigerian Army for Youth. Traditional rulers and civil society group, they are begging the Southeast and Abia State youth to come and join the army, that they should not be shying away. Okay now, you know, there is no greater honor than to serve your fatherland, your motherland. But one thing about the army is that when the army is overwhelmed, if the army is overwhelmed, there's a decree in our constitution that will mandate every youth to sign up for army. Yes, if the army is overwhelmed, there's a mandate. But the reason why the Nigerian youth are running away from army is simple. All because of politics. Politics, now they make Nigerian youth run from joining army. It's simple. It's not as if they don't want to serve their fatherland. But politics upon politics.
Oh yes. You all have seen it. It is very shameful what is happening in the country. Later, the government will tell you that they don't know the people that is sponsoring those terrorists. They are seeing them. They are seeing them all over. They are seeing the country that is sponsoring it. They are seeing the people that is sponsoring it. And they are seeing everything the way it is happening. But they cannot speak and they cannot go to them and to arrest them. It is ordinary man who just say, how it's supposed to be. Say the truth. It is a person that they arrest and they detain for how many days now. At the end, they will tell you that they are working, that they don't know what is happening. They know everything. They know everything. And those children, there is no more children. At least adult is there. Their parent, the adults that is directing them what to do, they are there, telling them what to do, and the government knows all those things. It is very, very annoying that the government, they will be seeing everything that is happening, and they will never stop, and they will never even speak up against the evil those people is doing. But when ordinary man that did not even commit anything, only that you say let the government do the right thing, the next thing they will be looking for you because of you speak. They will target that you want to dethrone the government, or you want to fight you are fighting the government. But once you see the people that is fighting the government, real people that is fighting the government, you will not go after them. You will now leave them. It is very shameful and very, very touching, because this type of country we live. If this continue this way, I think where will the country will end to? Well, because if the thing that is happening keep on this way, I'm thinking where will the country head to? It head to destruction, and it will head to division. That is where the place it is heading to. So there is no two ways about it. No two ways. Well, I would like you to watch this video from this Islam man, the interview he granted concerning the same Islam and their issue of Sharia and what is happening in Nigeria. In fact, just listen and we are coming back.
Our constitution is not secular. Our constitution is a Sharia constitution. And that is where we have problems today, including the insurgency in the name of Sharia.
Keep listening, please.
The 1999 constitution is a Sharia constitution. Because I mentioned in one interview, there are up to 73 mentions of Sharia in that constitution. About 28 mentions of Islam in that constitution. About 10 mentions of Muslim in that constitution. There is no mention of Christian or Christianity in that constitution. That means these Christians don't exist in this country. That is the truth. We cannot shy away from it. And the National Assembly members know this. But the problem with this country is that we have cowards in position of power who, even when they know the truth, are unable to speak out and say, gentlemen, this doesn't suit the so-called secularity of the constitution. But Sharia, whether we like it or not, that's what will continue to happen unless it is crushed. Negotiation will not work.
Did you hear that? That Nigerian constitution is not a secular constitution. What does that mean? It simply means that Nigerian constitution does not bond the whole country, that it bonds some people and segregates some people. Oh yes. And the second part he said, which is the most interesting one, he said that Nigerian constitution is a Sharia constitution. No be me talk am. I hope you guys had it. You know what? Maybe I will get you the full details of this video in one of my next video. Oh yes, so that you understand what we are talking about. Because sometimes when we say this, some of you think, you know, I talk about Nigeria out of hatred or whatever. No, but it is a reality. I'll get you the full video of that, interview. Please do well to subscribe. Now, to the news that Northern Elders has sent a very strong, letter to the US Congress. Let us go down to this letter and see what they are saying. Please, I beg you to stay with me in this video. Now, the letter says, let me zoom it so you can see it. It says, okay, Northern Nigerian leaders, along with various Islamic groups and officials, have strongly rejected calls to abolish Sharia law in the region, warning that such actions could threaten the unity of Nigeria. Warning that such actions could threaten the unity of Nigeria. This is same people that said that Nigerian unity is sacrosanct. Today, they are telling us that if they try to abolish, Sharia, that Nigerians' unity will be threatened. Now, I ask, so there could be anything that could threaten the unity of Nigeria? There could be anything. So at this point, Nigerians' unity is no longer sacrosanct. Holy Jesus, what a country. Now, let us go further. It says, recent intensified discussions regarding the removal of Sharia, often prompted by international and southern Nigerian pressures, have been met with staunch resistance. Key point includes, let's look at the key points they mentioned. Please stay with me. It's just a few seconds reading, all right? It says, the first one, sovereignty and constitutional right. Sovereignty and constitutional right. Leaders argued that Sharia law is a constitutional right permitted under Nigeria's federal system, and they reject external interference, particularly calls from US lawmakers to repeal it. So they are saying that, come on, the practice of Sharia in Nigeria is their constitutional right. And this only proves that man right, that Nigerian constitution is a Sharia constitution. Only this, they have said it, that Sharia is, in Nigerian constitution, it is their right. And so they have the right to practice it. So whoever that is telling them not to practice Sharia is going against the law. Second point they made is this, non-negotiable issue. Northern groups emphasized that Sharia is deeply rooted in the cultural and religious life of the region's Muslim majority, making it non-negotiable. Making it non-negotiable. It cannot be negotiated that they must practice their Sharia, that it is rooted in their culture and in their religious life. Non-negotiable. Okay, at this point, it is Sharia that is non-negotiable. It is Sharia that is sacrosanct. It is no longer the unity of Nigeria. All right. The third one, they said, is threat to national unity. Critics of abolishing Sharia warn that pushing for its removal could lead to the breakup of the country, with some stating that the North could prefer separation to the banning of Sharia, that they would prefer for Nigeria to separate, for Nigeria to break up, instead of stop the practice of Sharia. Did you get that? So you understand what we are talking about. Now, lastly, it says, let me zoom it. Lastly, it says, response to international pressure. Following recommendations from a US congressional panel to repeal Sharia and blasphemy laws, Nigerian Islamic leaders labeled the move as arrogancy and new colonialism, vowing that no intimidation would end the practice. It is what? They said that it is out of arrogancy that made the US congressional panel to call for the removal of Sharia. Ha! What a country. Sometimes I listen to all this news and I sit down, I ask myself, does it mean that we don't have people who reason at all in this country? Does it mean that we don't have people who still have the conscience of God to come and speak out? Does it mean that we don't have people who are educated enough or bold enough to come out and, talk about all this? Holy Jesus. Anyway, I'm just the analytic guy. Don't blame me. All right. Lastly, it says, while some southern leaders and human rights groups argue that Sharia criminal laws undermines national security and individual rights, northern stakeholders maintain that the system is essential for justice and religious practice. They maintain that the system is essential for justice. Well, this is where it ends. But then, I will still allow you now to listen to the video a northern elder made on national television, where he spoke about all this. And he said that, come on, they are not going back, that no removal of Sharia in Nigeria. Remember that the US Congress has said that, for Nigeria to remain one, for all these, killings to stop in Nigeria, that they must remove Sharia law. Now, my question is this. At this point that they have firmly confirmed and stand that no removal of Sharia, what do you think that the US Congress will do? What would they do? Okay, they will say, no problem, practice your faith, but just stop the killing. Is that what they're going to say? Well, drop your comment in the comment section. But then, I will beg you to spend just a little time and listen to what their members said. And then you understand what we are saying. Please do well to subscribe to this channel if this is your first time, alright? Because we got a lot of information to share with you. Please listen to him.
On the program by Professor Dahiru Usman, Islamic law expert, Bayero University, Kano, joining us from our Kano studio. Welcome to the program, Prof. Let's get right into it. We see what is playing out. Iran, Israel, America on that side. And it's looking more of a religious thing now with some of the pronouncements right now. We understand that there's been some sort of order now given to some Muslims in that area that now is the time for you to defend yourself. So while that is playing out, we also have our own fair share of issues with the United States as well. The U.S. Congress recommending, well, that Sharia law be removed from our laws in a manner of speaking. I've heard people say they never got to debate Sharia law before it was put into the Constitution, that you just had President Olusegun Obasanjo signing that Constitution, which he had not seen before, and it has become a law. And a lot of people fear that if Nigeria keeps towing down this path, then we might have bigger trouble on our hands. I wonder how you weigh in on this, seeing what is also playing out between Iran, Israel, the US, but more importantly, our own bit of the story with Sharia law. I really hope Prof can hear me and it's not a delay that is taking too long. But it's important to speak to these issues and get the perspectives now of those who are concerned. So Prof, I really hope that we get the audio bit sorted so you can hear us properly and give us your perspective. But yes, the US Congress has given a recommendation, submitted it to the White House, a two-page document, spoke to a number of things, partnering with Nigeria and all of that. But one of the bits in the recommendation is about Sharia law. And it's important to feel the pulse of leaders, even legal experts, religious leaders, those in government in northern states that operate Sharia law, to understand your thinking of this one. So, Prof, please confirm you can hear me, or you got my question.
I can hear you.
Okay, please go ahead then.
Well, thank you for having me on the studio. And the takeoff point is to acknowledge the fact that the right to religion is a fundamental human right that has been acknowledged, recognized, and sanctioned by international human rights instruments. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, absolutely. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Prof.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The takeoff point, like I said, is to acknowledge and recognize the fact that the right to religion is a fundamental human right that has been recognized, sanctioned by all international human rights instruments, regional instruments, and domestic constitutions. The Sharia implementation in Nigeria did not start with the 1999 constitution. Even as far back as 1802, and as documented by scholars on Orientalists and writers on African customary systems, they have acknowledged the fact that Sharia law has been in existence. In fact, outside the Arabian Peninsula, nowhere was the Sharia applied, including the criminal law of capital offenses, like it is applicable in northern Nigeria. Now, the issue of the United States demand for the proscription of Sharia, I think it is a very serious fundamental human rights concern to the Muslims of northern Nigeria, or Nigeria in general, because the rights of every human being to religion like I said, is sanctioned, and the Muslims are not an exception. And in fact, that would, in a way, interfere with the domestic affairs in Nigeria of regulating religious rights. And even the United States, there are quite a number of Muslims, and the statistics are showing that one of the fastest growing religion is the religion of Islam, and the United States is very well known of religious freedom. So it is surprising that the United States will be demanding that people who have a belief, people who have a constitutional and fundamental human rights to be guided and to be regulated by their religious laws would have faraway United States coming to dictate that people would have to jettison their constitutional rights, their fundamental human rights to religion. I think that demand would never be practicable. As far as the Muslims are alive, as far as Nigerian Muslims are alive, the issue of their right to religion is non-negotiable and cannot be taken away by any system. For even the colonial masters, when they came, they tried hard to take away the Sharia, but they could not do that. So I think it is, in a way, I may say, laughable that the United States would think that the Muslims would drop their religious rights over and above the demand of the United States.
All right, Prof, let's look at it two ways. Section 10 talks about the fact that the country is not, is a secular state by essence. So no states, the federation cannot adopt a religion. I want you to speak to that, whether this is not a contradiction. I know that section 275 up to section 279 talks about the Sharia court and all of that. So I want you to help us understand whether it is not a contradiction that in one breath the Constitution says no state or the federation shall adopt any state religion, yet we're seeing Sharia in our Constitution. That's one question. The second question has to do with the latitude of the Sharia law itself. Now, if the argument is, let's use an example, the Deborah case in Sokoto. What was the issue? They were in a WhatsApp group, and then she made some statement that persons within the Muslim community were not comfortable with, and they considered it blasphemy, and she was killed. And the case was an embarrassment, literally, because of how it was prosecuted. I think that case was left off because of lack of diligent prosecution, because of what was even filed in the first place. People expected murder and all those kind of charges to be filed, but all kinds of things were filed, and it was a bit of an embarrassment. So the second question is the latitude. Should Sharia law have applied to somebody like Deborah, who is not a Muslim?
Well, I cannot hear you.
Should I repeat the question?
I lost. You repeat the question because I didn't get the last part.
The first question was section 10. Talks about the federation or any state will not adopt.
That is well taken.
Okay.
Yes.
The second one was the latitude of the implementation of the Sharia law itself. And I gave an example of Deborah that was killed because of blasphemy. She's a Christian. The Muslim guys in our WhatsApp group were not comfortable with what she said, and they considered it a blasphemy, and they killed her. We can talk about the court case another day. But what I'm saying, should Sharia law have applied to Deborah in this instance? Because the argument is, for some people, it's not the existence of Sharia law, it's the latitude of Sharia law beyond Muslims.
Okay. I lost the audience. I can't hear you.
Prof, go ahead and answer the one you heard first. Answer the one you heard.
Okay, you see, the issue of Section 10 of the 1999 Constitution, I think around 1999-2000, there were a lot of debate when Zamfara State started the re-implementation of the Sharia. Now, you see, the issue of Section 10. Section 10 should not be read in isolation to other provisions of the Constitution. Section 10, quite all right, stated in the substantive provision that Nigeria, no state or the federation should adopt any religion as a state religion. But that does not mean the argument, my view, and many others hold the view that Nigeria is not a secular country. Now, the takeoff point in arguing this is, what is a secular state, and what is when can a state be said to be secular? The ordinary meaning, English meaning of secularism is to be indifferent to religion, indifferent to godly things, and no one can say that Nigeria is not a godly country, because beginning from the preamble of the Constitution, we resolved, as per the preamble of the Constitution, to live as one sovereign country under God. And then the Constitution, like all international human rights instruments under Section 38, sanction the right to religion, thought, and conscience. You have the right to practice your religion either in public or private. And then going down, like you rightly said, there are religious institutions that have been established by the Constitution, like the Sharia Court of Appeal, like the other aspect of the religion that is in the Constitution. And we know that the practice and the tradition in Nigeria is that the federal government, the state governments, do also sponsor religious pilgrimage, which is a religious thing, which is an indication that there is a religion, that the government recognizes a religion. And then it is obvious and it is known that any political office holder is asked to swear by the scripture he believes when he is taken out of office and out of allegiance. We have religious holidays that have been observed in Nigeria, and a host of other things that really will tell you that those who argue that Nigeria is secular do not really understand the meaning of being secular. For to be secular is to be unreligious, is to have no business with God or any religious affair. And no one can tell me that Nigeria and Nigerians are secular people who have no business with religion. And there are so many other, even the common law as we apply it is also not a secular law. It is a religious law because it traces its origin from a religion. The authorities are clear. In the United Kingdom in 1962, in the appeal cases, there is a Bowman against secular state, where the origin and the connection of the common law, which is largely applicable law in Nigeria based on our common law orientation, is also a religious law. So my argument and my take from the prescriptions and the provisions in the Constitution, it is wrong to call Nigeria a secular state just by looking at the marginal note of Section 10. You know, the content, the substantive provision are that no state or federal government should today wake up and say that the only applicable law is, for example, Sharia law or a Christian law. No state or federal government can do that. That is the intendment of Section 10 of the 1999 Constitution. The marginal note that said secular, I think does not, because throughout the reading of the 1999 Constitution, you would never find anywhere where Nigeria is called or declared to be a secular state. And for you to call a country a secular country, there must be a particular declaration in the Constitution to say that this is a secular country. And for countries that have declared to be Islamic states, it is obvious you find provisions in their own constitution that clearly declare the state to be an Islamic state or a Sharia state. So the implementation of Sharia in Nigeria is not in any way an unconstitutional act. Yes.
Yes. Your debate about the secularist outlook of Nigeria could be challenged if we looked at the context to which secularism means now, not subject to or bound by religious rule, not subject to or bound by religious rule. Now, if you consider that Nigeria is a heterogeneous country, I believe the question is to the effect that should other populations who do not derive their faith from Islam, as others in the north do, be subject to Sharia law? And northern Nigeria is as heterogeneous as other parts of Nigeria. I believe that's the question, and specifically in relation to Deborah. So should Sharia law have applied to her? I believe that is the context of the question that you should be addressing.
Well, there are two questions. I'm getting to the case of Deborah. The first question is whether, in the light of Section 10, Sharia implementing states are violating the secular nature of Nigeria. That is the first premise, and that was the first question. Now,
oh yes, starting from the beginning to the end, this man, he have said it, is very obvious. Some of our politicians and some of them that claim they are elects, they went to school, they will come out and they will be deceiving us that Nigeria is a secular state. This man have said it, and they have said it all. So Sharia is there, and Nigeria is not a secular state, and they have already bind Sharia on everybody's head, on every corner and every state in Nigeria. Just that they are not doing it in a way let everybody now see it fully, but it is now they want to open it full so that let everybody now see it that Nigeria, it is Islamic state. For those that will be claiming it is not, it is not. So there is no any two ways about it. Things is happening. When Mazen Kano was talking about it, the people, they hate him because of he's from the east. Now everything is now happening on their eyes, so nobody can deny and nobody can doubt it. This man, he said it, and if you watch from the beginning to the end of this video, you hear it. The other man said it. Nigeria is an Islamic state. It's there in the constitution, and everything they used to build the country is based on Islamic. So there is no two ways about it. So in fact, we don't know why the government and the people that claim that they are the leaders, they have not come out to speak or to ask questions about how this country can be, or if the country will not be, let's divide, let everybody go and govern in their own states and make their own place to work. Because you cannot buy your own religion on my own head in the name of I must believe what you believe. That cannot work. And that is how it will be. Well, American is coming, and we believe that is why they are afraid of what happens in Iran, that very soon it will happen in Nigeria. Well, I would like to hear your comment down below. What do you think about what's going on in Nigeria? Like, subscribe, and make sure you share it. Let everyone see things going on in the country. We say thank you for watching.